Good morning, everybody, and you're very welcome to hersport.ie, which is Ireland's only media platform dedicated to Irish women in sport. My name is Emma Connolly, and I'm absolutely buzzing and delighted to be joined by our very own Ayeisha McFerran this morning. How you doing?
Cheers, Emma. Thanks for having me. Yeah, not too bad.
Very good.
Living the dream in Dublin, aren't we?
Where were you this morning? What were you up to?
We had a wee school visit with one of our sponsors, so Saba. Their kids go to that school, so we went, and then we actually kind of got to meet the whole school. So, it was actually gas crack. Like the principal was, it was very, very funny, and the kids were very sweet. So, yeah, we were there for an hour or two this morning, just hanging out with the kids.
Very good. For those who aren't 100% familiar with yourself, Ayeisha is, well, you have a big list of accolades, but first and foremost, you're an Olympian. You are the Irish women's hockey team's goalkeeper, and you got goalkeeper of the tournament for the World Cup in 2018. Just kind of a big deal. And you got 4 times All-American while you were playing in the States for Louisville Cardinals, which is actually the highest honor you can get in US college sport. So, like, how did that feel for 4 times?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, as a foreigner going over, you're like, okay, sure, like I don't have a clue what this means, but then you kind of get especially my first year, I had no idea. And then kind of as the years go on and people explain what it is to you, you're like, oh, that's quite nifty enough now, isn't it? So yeah, sure, like it was like by the end of it, like it was a real honor and stuff, especially to represent the university like that. We it's not the biggest hockey school, so to kind of have me and a few other girls really kind of step up and take that step to get the All-Americans for the college, I think we were all very proud to have that.
Very good, and congrats again anyway. But the big elephant in the room is the World Cup starting next Saturday for you, isn't it? The first game's next Saturday.
Aye. Yeah. Yeah, it is next Saturday. Aye.
Yeah, it's mad. How are you feeling?
Even, like, excited. Like I really am. Like, if I think back 4 years ago, going in, I was a bit more nervous. You didn't really kind of know. Obviously, it was our first time going to a major tournament like that. And so you're just kind of we're this little group buzzing. We knew we could do something and we were going in, but this time we're actually like, we're just excited to be there together and play with each other. Like, we have this kind of new crop coming through of girls who are actually really bloody exciting to watch. And I think just that in itself, like, I'm so excited just to see them step up on their own, and use their own platform and show what they can do. I think that in itself is so exciting to see, and just to see, like, you see so much change in our team from obviously last summer to now. So it's just, how are we going to cope with that, the challenges that lay ahead, and just what can we do with that. I think that in itself is going to be really exciting for us as a group, just to see where we can go and where we can take that.
Yeah, and the first game is against the number ones.
No bother.
Yeah, precious for tires.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like that makes a lot of you.
So how is it feeling playing over there with your teammates in Kampong, and like, do you find it weird whenever you go to play them in the international stage?
Yeah, it's actually quite funny. So my girlfriend is obviously the goalkeeper of the Dutch team. So there's obviously a bit of rivalry in the house, but sure, like, we know who wins that one more often than not. But we don't address that one. But yeah, it is really fun. Like, most of the Dutch girls, everyone has this perception that they're just these kind of robots, amazing at hockey. But I've got to know quite a lot of them quite well, and they're super chill. Like, they love competing, they love their sport, and they love what they do. And I think that playing against that in Holland, and knowing a lot of the girls, it makes it that bit more fun, and not so much, oh my gosh, it's the Dutch, this is going to be a challenge. But so you can kind of break it down and see, no, they're actual humans too. They do make mistakes, and they do this, that, and the other, just like the rest of us. So it's nice to have that, because you can see what they're also doing. But yeah, it gets very competitive now whenever I see them about.
Yeah, so you've had that few years experience compared to the new girls coming into the camp this year. Do you find that you can sort of have a positive effect on them regarding going up against the Dutch next week?
I like to hope so. Like, I try to bring them down a peg or two, like the Dutch players. Like, they're good, like, but like, they're still human, you know. So you try and take that into some of the newer girls. I know whenever I was that age, you're looking at the Dutch, you're like, oh my gosh, can I ask them for their autograph? Maybe that was just the hockey nerd in me, but I know, yeah, most of them now, especially our new girls, are, yes, they look up to them, but we're just very focused on us being us. And I think that's kind of what's special about this group, is like we want to have a bit of crack together. Yeah, of course we want to perform. We know that if we perform, then that's the key. But yeah, that's the big one. If we just go out and do that and not kind of build them up to be bigger than what they are. Yeah, they're the Dutch, the number one team in the world. We're playing them in their backyard. That in itself is going to put a whole bunch of spanners in the work. But yeah, we're just excited to go, and I think the new girls they're really excited just to get going.
Good, and mindset is key for that, obviously. How do you feel compared to the last World Cup? So it's still a huge deal to get runners up, but has that just totally left the forefront now? Is the focus just gold?
Yeah, I think the last World Cup we ran a fairy tale. But now it's easier said than done, going and saying you want to go for gold. I think every team that goes there wants to get that gold medal. Otherwise, I don't think many of the teams would be wanting to go to take part. But yeah, of course we want to. Yeah, we would love to get back to where we were, but we also know we're very different squads, and we're writing our own chapter. It's a very different group. There's 5 of us who were at the last World Cup, so I think that in itself just shows how much turnover has went through the team. Our goal straight away is minimum get out of the group. That's no question. We start there. We know if we put in the performances to do that will be done. And then from there we have to build. So for us, it's really important to take it kind of one game at a time in the groups, and then to take the group stage as it is, and move forward from there before we can even start thinking about further on ahead.
Exactly. And you're in Pool A, which is the Netherlands, yourselves, Germany and Chile. So what was your thought when you first seen that?
A bit mixed, to be honest. I know my initial thought was, of course, we would get the Dutch in Holland, because sure, like what otherwise they're to do it. But it kind of gets them out of the way. You don't face them in a crossover until later on. So like you're like, okay, that's fine. You know what, manage them now, scout them out a bit, and then go from there. Us playing against Germany, it's always a battle. We're one of those teams that we always play up to them. They like to have the ball for 10, 20 passes, and then they'll try and do something. And I think that for us allows us to be really, really patient and build that our defense, which is what we're good at. We're strong there, and then we go and we counter. We're quick. We're a really, really quick team. Like some of the girls now are, it's insane how quick they are, and they're still able to do their skills with it. So I think that'll be a really good challenge for us. And then we have Chile in the middle of both of them, and then that is our target game. And that's a game that we know that we must get a result, do a job, and tick a box and say we've done it. The Chile have definitely got better in the past couple of years, so I think that in itself will prove a challenge. They're obviously coming into their first tournament, and we obviously know the feeling that they're going to be going through. They're going to be probably targeting us as well, but yeah, it's going to be one hell of a match. And yeah, I know our girls are definitely up for the fight, so it's just we'll see what happens on the day.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching you. And you were saying about the last World Cup as a fairy tale. Everyone, is it right to say that people doubted you? They didn't think you would do as well as you did. So I'm so glad that you've proved everybody wrong. You proved the nation wrong. Were you surprised in a good way about the support that you've got for the World Cup and then in the final and things like that?
Yeah, 100%. I think going over, it was probably just our friends and family that knew we were heading off to play in a World Cup in London. No one else knew about us. We were just, we were another team in the airport that everyone's just trying to figure out who we were. And then everyone knew we were living in our own bubble. And so you're hearing drips and drabs from the family coming through of like, oh, more people are getting support, the stadium's getting filled with more green. So I think that in itself, we've seen that, and we've seen the impact it had on us playing in those like death moments of like 32 degrees, super hot, and we still had the fans cheering for us. I think that was never like, okay, that something's happening here. Like there's a lot of green going on here in the very red country in England. But we buzzed off that. We love seeing that, and I think that's what a lot of us have really fond memories of from 2018, is the fact that so many more fans came, acknowledged that we were at a World Cup, grew into the sport, just started supporting us as a team, that we could do something that people didn't even know that we were going to do. So I think we love that aspect, and we hope we get that again. going over to Amsterdam and going to the Wagner Stadium.
Yeah, the atmosphere was electric. I remember watching it, shouting at the TV, and I was like, what am I doing shouting at the TV at hockey for? Like, didn't even know the rules at that stage. But it was so good to see the nation get behind you, and rightly so, because as we know, and the whole point of her sport is to get the platform for women's sport up and going, because you just do the exact same training and effort and everything as the men. And as you said before, you made history, like first Irish team to win a World Cup title and also qualify for the Olympics. So getting on to that, what was the overall hindsight for you getting to the Olympics? When you're looking back and reflecting, what was it like?
Oh, jeez. It's to be honest, I have a lot of mixed emotions about the Olympics. It's one of those ones where, looking back, I regret probably not enjoying it as much as I did. For me, I was very focused on, I wanted to go, I wanted to perform, I wanted to do my job, but then I kind of lost the, oh my gosh, we've made history. We went to the Olympics, first female team to do that. So it's a bit mixed for me. Still, I'm so proud to be part of the team that went and represent Ireland and be part of the first female team to go. So I do have some regrets, but like it's also weird because you hear all these stories of how amazing the Olympics is, how you can go meet all these athletes, but then obviously with COVID, you couldn't really do any of that. Yeah, so for me, I would probably say my best time at the Olympics was actually after, it sounds terrible, but it was after we get knocked out, because the pressure was off me to perform. And that's whenever we were down at the green in the village, and we were meeting so many athletes. Like I was hanging out with the Kenyan sevens. There was a lot of the volleyball people were there. Like some of the, it was the girl who just won the triple jump for Venezuela. She was down, and we were like, oh my gosh, you just literally won gold in the Olympics, and now you're down here hanging out in the grass, and I see you, you're about 10 meters from me. So like a lot of things like that stuff you miss during the actual games itself. But then yeah, after it, I had the best time, because that's, for me, that was what the Olympics was about. Was it should be about connecting with other sports, meeting other cultures, other people, yeah, just getting to know different things. But we can, well, for me, I find I missed that during the actual games itself.
Yeah.
But I got to play in the Olympic Games with Ireland, and I think that in itself is, yeah, quite incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing. But like any experience, it was your first time. You were a rookie at the Olympics, and you can't be hard on yourself for not enjoying it as much as you could have. It'd be natural for anyone to go and think, right, I need to do well here, I need to perform, this is a big deal. But then again, for the next time, all being well, you'll know how to enjoy yourself more, and it won't be restricted. Like, that was not a normal Olympics. It was bizarre.
So bizarre. Like, I remember I was standing beside Roisin Upton, and we're waiting to go into the food hall, and about 10 meters away is Djokovic. Like, oh my gosh, it's Djokovic. Do you think we can ask him for a photo? And obviously with COVID, and he was an anti-vaxxer, so we're a bit like, that's a bit. So we're standing there for about 10 meters away, just taking a photo of him. We're like, this is the weirdest thing we've ever done in our lives. Like, this could almost be considered stalkerish. But sure, like, we're saying it was the games. It was everything that happened there, and that was that.
I know. Think the amount of pictures you could have had.
Oh, don't even. We're like, by the end, some of the girls were running up and down the streets getting photos with like actual sports stars, but like people you would see on TV, because we're like, oh my gosh, like, there's your one. So it was a bit funny by the end of it, seeing who was getting photos with who.
How have you got on with the language barrier in the Netherlands, and has that been a challenge?
I've been touched with quite okay. So my first 2 years, most of the stuff was in English, and as a country, they're very good at teaching English from an early age. I've started to very, very slowly. I'm not the most language pick up easy person, so I know some Dutch. Like, I can understand more than what I can speak. Speaking is very, very difficult, but we're slowly getting there. I'm 3 years in, and I can almost order myself a coffee, so that's the important part.
That's important. Yeah. Do you think you'd be able to translate what they're saying next weekend?
Yeah, yeah, like that part would be fine. Like, because most of the stuff I would watch, like if I'm watching hockey or something on the TV or watching football, then it would all be in Dutch.
Okay.
Because it's like an easy way to, especially in the sports stuff, like it's an easy way to kind of understand and, yeah, pick up what's going on, especially in that context. But outside that, it needs to go a bit slower. My teammates have learned to very much speak slower Dutch levels to me.
Okay. Regarding training then, leading up to this point, how has it been Has it been intense? Has it been really focused, or what's the vibes been?
It's been really, really good. So I've been kind of flying in and out quite a bit from Holland just for training, and then we had a trip to Japan there 2 weeks ago, and it was really, really busy. It was a real business trip, get in, get stuff done, which is what we needed. A lot of the girls were that was the first time our squad got really narrowed down to the World Cup squad, and it was a time for a lot of us to kind of connect on and off the field, which I think is so important. And from then on, it's just been really, direct. Okay, what do we need to really focus on? What's the important stuff? What stuff is doing good? And things like that. So it's been really good, and we've seen a real improvement in what we've been trying to do, and a real focus on the areas that we want to target against certain teams. And we're just playing with freedom. I think some of the girls were down last weekend watching us, who just retired here at the last World Cup, and they were like, yeah, it's so nice to see you guys playing with freedom. Like, you see some of the younger girls like Michelle Carey, you can't even describe her style of play. It's just, she's so naturally gifted at being able to just be a player. You're like, how do you do that? Like, so to see young players doing that, it's a real joy that we maybe wouldn't have had in the past. So it's allowing them that freedom, but keeping the structure. So it's starting to really narrow down now it was quite wide, and then now it's getting quite narrow into what we want to focus on. Okay, what are we going to do against Holland, against Chile, against Germany? How do we manage certain situations? So now it's just about polishing a few things up. Like, nothing major is going to change now. We have the team, we know what we're capable of. How can we just tidy it up for those teams to perform for them? Yeah,
hopefully the gel just all forms into place when it comes to the matches. To finish then, have you any wee rituals of your own that you do? You might have none. I know a few athletes that don't do anything. They don't believe in the music in the ears or anything like that. Have you got any wee particular things?
I would probably say no, right? But I'd be lying, because I like my warm-up. I'm very, come game day, I'm very like, everything has to be like my way. I used to be really bad with it. It's taken a lot of work to get here, so it's not as superstitious. Like, if I'm not the whole like right sock, left sock, that I'm not that. But it's like, once I'm like in my gear warming up, like, I'm naturally quite a chatty, I joke about whatever, but come like as soon as I go onto the field, I'm like, they're like, okay, what's up with Ayeisha? Why is she in the mood? But I'm just like, that's just me. Like, I'm ready to go. Like, I want to perform. And then same, like, once I start doing like my stick and ball warm up with one of the coaches, it's very focused. Like, I'm very like, no, you have to put the ball in a better, you have to like pass it to me better. And so I know things like that have definitely got picked up on. It's how I am. That's it. That's what I'm describing it as, and we just go with it. It's worked so far, and so we're going to stick with it.
Exactly. No, don't fix what's not broken.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's been so lovely to chat to you, and I just wanted to get a wee insight to how things are going before the World Cup, and we'll all be watching. There's a lot more on the spotlight now for you, and I really hope you go the full pelt this year and bring home gold for us. So all the best, and good luck to you and the team.
Cheers. Thanks a million, Emma.